Hello and welcome back to Warhammer 40k RogueTrader. In the last episode we've met Jay. She's some kind of crime lord officer. Alright, let me see the exactly. She's a iconoclast. She's from Imperial world. She's a gunslinger. So yeah, she's technically an officer with badly distributed skills. What can you do? Anyway, we also went to the Anver's lair and we killed everyone. So that's one problem dealt with. And I believe we're heading back to the ship because that's the only thing to do, and there are some things to visit in the dock anyway. So let's get back. If I can find the exit, opposite side.
A new challenge for me. Follow my lead!
Alright, we're out of this dungeon.
Weakness.
Probably went the longest route, but
Stand in my way.
it's not like this place has any good traversable terrain. So yeah, the last thing that quest marker points is this area. Local Pharaoh. There is a chest or something hidden somewhere.
I'll lay claim to the stars.
Talked about a window. Oh, and here's sendings. Okay, you can stay. I don't need you. At least for now. And let's read that letter. Alright, nothing special. And there's
A new challenge
something
for me?
about the windows, so the only windows here. Yeah. Old tunnel.
Victory awaits!
I don't believe we have access there yet. So let's get back to our ship. Heal our wounds. And we'll see how the game progresses then. So yeah, it's a clever way to say, well, you have to explore now. So yeah, now we'll be thrown into the colony system, probably. So yeah, food world, production world, and administrative world. Our core planets that need to be under my control. Yeah. Without food, everyone dies. Right, and I believe, and this is our quest now. That means talking to Jay. That's Henrik. Yeah. I believe we have to wait for now with footfall. Okay, so let's find Jay. She's here with Skull. Let's talk with her.
Allow me to thank you again for helping me with the cargo, Sherry. I am sure the Ashmags who squirreled away my goods won't give up so easily, and I'll hear more about their scheming yet. Let's strike a deal, Sherry. I will watch your back if you do me a favor and watch mine. Well, enough jokes. Is there something you wanted? The dark side is the real Koronus Expanse, if you ask me. But what do you want to know about it, Shireen? Dynasties drink with criminals. RogueTraders strike deals with the Casbalica. And dozens of ships stop off for a welcome break from a long voyage. Is there a more beautiful place in the entire Imperium? The Emperor is merciful to the meek and the powerful alike. There's a job for everyone as long as they have a head on their shoulders. And if you feel like talking to him in person, the statue of the Exalted One can be seen from any asteroid. You can pray to your heart's content. An ancient crime cartel that originated with the first settlers of the Calixis sector. It is run by shadowy clans with robber barons at the helm. Cross their path, and you risk making enemies all over the Koronus Expanse, or even the entire Imperium. As for the agents, they are just shameless, greedy scum. Every third person on footfall is a Casbalican. But that doesn't mean all that rotten filth is acting together. I've been set up more than once just so some Casbalican can get one over on his rivals. And yet, the Casbalica is generous to its customers, if you can afford it. Anything can be obtained, organized, and transported for the right price. The customer is always right, unless they happen to be a rat. In which case... What gave you such an outrageous idea? Was it my immaculate garment? My gorgeous jewelry? Do not worry, Shireen. I will let you know once I become a baroness, should the Exalted One will it. Just imagine the strong and fruitful alliance that could be forged between a RogueTrader and the mastermind of the Casbalica. It's not hard to do on footfall. I spent a year working for good old Christo. He was a brave soldier who gave up the ghost in a scuffle with orcs, and then took over his business. Having a good head on your shoulders and keeping the Exalted One in your heart helps to establish new contacts quickly. Eventually, I gathered together a group of honest and loyal people. And it only took a few successful contracts for the Kasbalika to take notice. I quickly settled on footfall and started dispensing my wisdom to my protégés and subordinates. I lost the taste for getting my hands dirty. It really is simple, Sherry. The Kasbalika runs the Imperium's black market, offering special goods to those who can afford their services. Yes, I am talking about Xeno artifacts too. Alien weapons, technology, sometimes even certain kinds of living creatures. Unlike the rogue traders whose sacred warrants make them immune even from the laws of the Exalted One, Kasbalikan agents are used to hiding and covering their tracks. Nobody wants to draw unwanted attention, no matter who might take an interest. Especially now that the Koronus Expanse has a warrior of the Golden Throne as its watchman. Why not? The decision is yours, Sherry. My trade means knowing the right people and non-people, having the right connections, and making sure the precious goods find their way into the hands of my no less precious customers. My wisdom includes the knowledge of the enemies of humankind, be they Xenos or the lowest scum of the Imperium, as well as the latest knowledge about how they charge for any particular curio at the footfall market. Not even the most cunning Ajri will deceive you as long as I am with you, Shireen. I promise you that. Whatever I have can be yours too, if your unfathomable wealth isn't enough for you already, I mean. It has been known to happen. After years of dealing with Xenos, I've learned their customs, and even got a grasp of their language. Except they cringe whenever I start speaking. Arrogant sods. They dislike even our voices, but they never turn away our valuables. Then again, I'm used to seeing sour faces. In this trade, the easily offended go out of business. I have no doubt you will have to deal with Xenos sooner or later. When that time comes, Shireen, you will thank the Exalted One for sending me to stand at your side. Thank you, Shireen. Being able to read and write is chief among them. You may not be aware, but this science is beyond the abilities of billions of the Imperium subjects. And yet they happily keep drudging along in their factories, fundi, and assembly lines. Me? I didn't escape Ifrit to consign myself to such misery. It was literacy that paved my path to copied orders, forged signatures, counterfeited papers. The wonderful things that make the wheels of bureaucracy turn in the right direction. Compared to the rabble on footfall, perhaps. Compared to you. Be it power or money, I still have a long way to go. I could purchase one of Footfall's asteroids, but not a planet. I could subjugate a few gangs from the shady districts, but not Vladium. And so the answer to your question is no. I do not consider myself rich. I am not rich enough.
One must ask your question when you're considering yourself rich enough.
You're fun to talk. I grew tired of scribing endless contracts and agreements neatly tucked away on Footfall. I did that for how many years? But here, among the stars, you are always balanced on a knife edge. Nothing thrills me more than the tension of a warp jump, or the danger that lurks around every corner on a planet. Footfall was beginning to make me fat and stupid, Sherry. I do not want that. Do I trust the Trickster twins? By the Exalted One, no. The underhanded rogues of Footfall came up with that name for a reason. The tricks of those frenzied ashmags are all about things far more intriguing than the honest and law-abiding subjects of the Imperium can imagine. On the other hand, this is why I am keeping them close. Kor and Tora know who lifted them out of the cesspit proudly called the Shadow Quarters, and who has been feeding that ravenous beast their insatiable lust for lucre. No. They are not going to betray me if only because they know I am now a part of your entourage, Sherin. They're not going to let the biggest pie in the Imperium pass them by without trying to get a slice for themselves. Vicious, cruel, dangerous beasts. Humans hold little interest for Xenos. We are entertainment for them, a means to keep boredom at bay. A commodity. But some of them contact us once in a while using their own people. Do not deceive yourself by thinking you are safe because there are no Xenos inside. Those Agi are as cunning as they are ruthless. They cleverly pull at the strings of spies and traitors, subjugate those who do not fall for the promised reward, transform the ones who resist their promises into soulless puppets. The Emperor watches over me, and that is why I still haven't succumbed to the fate of many of my associates who have lost their lives to the stringy scoundrels. I think we've said all there is to say on this topic. No truer words have ever been said. I'm far more exciting than some small-time peddlers from Footfall. Allow me to introduce myself properly. I am Jai Amira Fatqain Tamiri Ash Ifrit, the 12th daughter of the Lord of Ifrit, a distant world at the fringes of the Imperium. The youngest child is destined to become a bargaining chip in the family's political games. But I was unwilling to accept such a fate, and wanted to choose what to become and which path to follow. When I learned the Exalted One watches over hundreds of other worlds amidst distant stars, I understood there was an entire world of opportunities beyond Ifrit. All I had to do was break the familial bonds tying me down and escape the planet. Which I did a long time ago. The Koronus Expanse. A gorgeous name, isn't it? But this backwater wasn't my original destination when I escaped, Sherry. Oh no, it was the rumors of incredible freedom that brought me to the Koronus Expanse. Freedom that is generously bestowed upon everyone who can survive in these parts. All doors are open here. You can become a saint, a mogul, a kingmaker, or anyone you like, really. Here, hard work pays off. Unless you're used to lying by the roadside and complaining instead of toiling for the good of your soul, glory, wallet, or whatever floats your boat. I'm used to working hard, and so I found my blessing. I convinced my father I personally wished to oversee the inspection of imported goods. I had to get experience so I wouldn't bring shame on our family, didn't I? I made friends with traders, missionaries, and soldiers at the port. I listened to their stories, studied the charts, learned what documents I had to forge to escape the planet. A kind word here, a shiny coin there. And here I am, in the iron belly of a ship, braving the void in search of a new life. Consider it a mark of my trade. This here? Xenos. Dumb-headed orcs. Who knew that we weren't the only ones to get tempted by the wreck of that raider? As for this treasure, I received it as a reward for a life that had been just a little too good. I was in a hurry to get to the Adeptus Amasacus after the Exalted One blessed me with immense wealth. I was 2 backstreets away from the den when a pathetic ashman attacked me, envious of somebody else's fortune. All relationships are based on mutual trust. That goes for business too. It is difficult not to be aware of the powers that be, especially ones like Lord Captain Theodora. But we never met personally, as the difference between our positions was far too great. Theodora was a mighty ruler, the center of her own universe. And I, a pathetic commoner, was nothing next to her. But you were kind to me, Sherin. And in my eyes, that put you above your esteemed aunt, or whoever she was to you. Or lucky lady, you mean? My heart has been coveted by proud men with hard eyes, gentle maidens with sensual voices, imperious lords and fierce leaders of void brigands. Only rogue traders have not yet featured among Jai Hedari's intimate friends. Why do you ask, Shiri? You are prying at the treasures of my soul, my little secrets. How else can I keep them safe from such a powerful robber as the rogue trader? I dare not refuse you.
Oh, I like her. I like her character. So let's not be...
Oh, Sharif. With a few words, you have managed to make my heart flutter like a songbird caught in the snare of a skilled hunter. You enjoy being with me. Perhaps you even find me... amusing? Every girl dreams of hearing that she will make a fine toy and a worthy diversion. Oh, Sharif. Then what reason do I have to tell you the truth? Every mystery once solved ceases to excite the interest of an inquiring mind. Oh, you ruthless, cruel creature. Would you really kill a person purely out of jealousy? Or 2 or 3 people? Rogue traders are a fearsome breed. My heart trembles to witness it. How fortunate then that you will not have to spill the blood of any lovesick innocent, for none has any rightful claim on me. They all languish in their passion at a respectful distance, mourning and cursing their cruel fate. If you are not simply amusing yourself by toying with my feelings, then why not give it a try? Go on. Or, wait. You haven't yet asked how I feel about being your romantic partner. Ask soon, Sherry. Of course I will. How could I say no? I have no doubt that you are a wonderful conversationalist, Sherry. I will make a note of your invitation and make sure to take you up on it when I next get hungry. But if the feelings in your soul have become a fire that is burning you up from within, then you may express them by bestowing a gift upon your humble servant.
Now we'll need to know what kind of gift.
The language on Ifrit, my home world, is quite different from the one spoken in the Koronus Expanse. We bestow more than one meaning upon each word, allowing our wise men to fully express their sagacious thoughts, and us lowly commoners our base passions and desires. Take Agi, for example. That is what I call every piece of scum and villain, because Agi means evil and foe and pathetic worm unworthy of consideration. Or take Ashmag. It means fool and little brother, and blind man who stumbled and would fall into a pit without guidance. Shireen means friend and comrade and roommate in a battle formation, like we are.
That's fair.
Listen, Shireen, the giver of happiness and the dearest of my friends. I am who I am. A cold trader, a Casbalican agent, and your partner. We each have a past, and that past is sealed. I'm not prying into your soul, am I? Well, have pity on mine. It has already been gnawed at by the Agi. And if you don't like the sound of that, we'll just go our separate ways. Deal? All relationships are based on mutual trust. That goes for business too. Oh, Shireen, I did manage to spark your interest. Allow me to invite you to a more private place. My words are meant for your ears alone.
And why would suddenly this not be voiced? That looks like... yeah. A sniper rifle and a sword. Sadly, none of us can use it. Yeah, that's something powerful she's providing. Yeah, she knows how to play the game. The thing I chose Mechanicus is because they have those extractors, and that will help gather resources. And the faster I get reputation, the faster I can get those extractors. Probably others have too, but I think Mechanicus has them more available. Also, I believe Pascal said something about locks. No, that's just I think supporters. I am not one of them. I didn't support this game on Kickstarter or whatever. Okay, let's get back. Henrik's, because he also wanted something.
To what do I owe this visit? The cult's ordinary members are humans who have been corrupted by the archenemy, traitors to the Imperium, and accomplices of chaos. Participation in the cult's rituals always entails brainwashing, literally and figuratively. The longer cult members spend among other cultists, the less critically they think, and the more closely they resemble obedient livestock, stripped of their fear and instinct for self-preservation. The worst of them go to their deaths without an inkling of doubt, ready to take hundreds and thousands of souls with them. As for those at the top of the cult's hierarchy, we have not yet managed to get a lead on all of the cult's leaders. I imagine that some of them are hiding in the depths of the Koronus Expanse, but those who are orchestrating the fanatics on nearby worlds are hiding very well indeed, or receiving protection from above. I need to confirm the reports from my agents. According to them, one of the cult's leaders is in the Kiava Gamma segment, an industrial world within the dominion of the Von Valancius dynasty. I hope you won't impede my investigation. Governors, commanders, rogue traders. History is full of those who neglect their duty to the Golden Throne and seek allies in the wrong places. We discovered the first traces of it as soon as we arrived in the Koronus Expanse. Since then, the more we learn, the better we see just how far the roots of this blight extend. Destroying individual cells is pointless. We must cut this beast off at its head. As you wish.
Okay, that's harsh.
Mistress Adari is a dangerous person, and dangerous people like dangerous things. Jai is probably partial to good weapons. She even has a small but enviable collection. Such a gift would not only be practical given her perilous trade, but it would also show that you have taken an interest in her as a person and her tastes. Such demonstrations are very important when dealing with people with whom you would like to curry favor.
It's a good advice.
Yes, but not here. I wouldn't want our conversation to be gossip fodder on the bridge and in the officers' mess.
It's fine how they always present a nice choice, sort of kind of rude neutral ways, and totally asshole answer. Alright, and I think I'll just follow the lead and go to that industrial world. There is a chaos rising there. It needs to be put down as fast as possible. And I think we need to talk to Pascal. Maybe he will enlighten us about that data he found.
The Omnissiah knows all, comprehends all. Given the high status of the unit von Valancius and his services rendered to the Adeptus Mechanicus, perhaps a request for special leniency for the unit Jai Hidari, the sentence of oblivion without sabotorization that is stipulated for her crimes, may instead be commuted to immediate redemptive servitude in perpetuous. Then, hypothetically, in time she would be able to compensate for a small portion of the sacrileges she has committed against the Omnissiah. It would be a most generous gift. However, this act of mercy is not advisable, for it is undeserved.
I'm not sure I follow what he said. But did he just said I should make her a servitor? Or something like that?
The request is approved. I did conceal certain information. I was a student of Archmagus Amanat, but I committed an act of betrayal after he deviated from sacred dogma. He fell into schism and challenged the sacred boundaries of knowledge. The blessed Amanat claimed the limits of what is permitted must be expanded, because by refusing to explore certain law, we find ourselves in contempt of the seventh universal law. Comprehension is the key to all things. My mentor put forth a thesis claiming that we have stagnated, that a ritual is now nothing but a cage for souls and false worship of the Omnissiah. He sought to break the cycle of mindless repetition because he saw the inevitable demise of our faith and all humanity at the end of it. This statement is false. My mentor's words sound like heresy. Limits were established because it is dangerous to venture beyond. Each step past them could lead to a bloody slaughter, but the blessed Amanat was not afraid. The teachings of the blessed Amanat spread, and word of it reached the conclave of the Cognizance fleet. They recognized his teachings as tech heresy. Many tech priests suddenly vanished or were subjected to severe penance for minor transgressions. The students of Amanat, whose number included many enlightened and respected brothers, resisted. My prognosis showed that our most likely future was a schism and a fratricidal war that would destroy the Cognizance fleet. That was when I headed to the Conclave. I confessed and handed the information about my mentor's research over to the Conclave. Brazen, anathematic studies of the Forbidden Law. The Conclave could use that data to summon Archmagus Amanat to stand trial and compel him to repent on pain of excommunicate traitoris. His subsequent fate is unknown to me. I pray that the Omnissiah grants us wisdom to overcome the dialectic differences that divide us. I was summoned there by a message that was encrypted with the blessed Amanat's personal code, and could have been interpreted in several ways. One thing was certain. We were in danger, and I had to go to Rycat Minoris. I never met him, but I think he was a person of worth. The phrase that came from his lips indicates he was in contact with my mentor. I preserved his cortical implant and absorbed the information it contained. However, the large amounts of data memories are encoded with a cipher yet unfamiliar to me. I was wrong when I assumed it was the blessed Archmagus Amonat who assumed the guise of Abel Haneman. But there is a connection between him and the Reverend Abel, and I intend to uncover the nature of this link. Acknowledged. I will return to ruminating on the search. May your labors be...
Alright, so nothing about that stuff. Oh yeah, and I need to talk about with Argenta. About the bridge RogueTrader. Alright, Argenta.
Greetings. If you want to do her good, give her a dose of conscience and a fear of the Emperor. That is what she truly needs. But if you want to please her, give her some meaningless jewelry, expensive and shiny. Such baubles wield magical power over hearts like hers.
That's probably rather a bad idea.
Yes, I'm ready. I would ask only one thing of you, RogueTrader. If I may, I would like to see the chamber of the sacred warrant and kneel before the relic touched by the Emperor himself. A difficult conversation lies ahead of us, and I wish to pray by the relic before I lay my soul bare.
And yes, I know Argenta is not dateable sorts. That will be rather perfectly accurate, since she is a sister of battle. Right, that was this. Sergeant asked us about finding a relic of great importance. Let's hopefully that this relic will be super cool. Let's check what Abrald has to say.
Captain. I used to give Genusian lilies to the girl I liked, but the species long since extinct. Now it lives only in my memory. Ask someone else, Your Lordship. I am too old to remember how to charm young ladies.
Fair answer.
Lord Captain.
And let's talk with Idira. Maybe she'll give some answers.
Well, it would have to be something that screams, "Look how much the RogueTrader loves me," in the faces of everyone she meets. Like a fabulous gown beyond anything that even the noble women of Koronus can acquire. A princess of smugglers would love the opportunity to rub the nobility's noses in her newfound privileges.
That's too much vain, I think, for her.
It was just my nerves playing up. Something about our little saint doesn't sit right with me, and I trust my gut. Oh sure, she seems straight as an arrow and as predictable as a hangover after drinking. But when I look at her, something about her makes my brain itch. After that conversation, I tried to listen to what was being said about her. Beyond the door, what I heard was strange. Blood in her past, twilight in her present, and something like a star leading her. But where is it leading her? I saw several roads, and all of them frightened me. It certainly wouldn't hurt. I'll keep a watch on her too. If only I knew what it meant. Maybe it means danger for her. Or maybe danger coming from her. All right, let's hear what they're whispering about you. An ancient world with a riven heart. Find the path to it, and its riches will be yours. But paths there are two, and both will cloak you in disgrace, and neither is what it seems. What will you choose, RogueTrader? The fall of the Imperium, or the fall of the dead gods? In the cradle of your ancestors, a black dragon hungers, cunning and spitting venom. Many paths lead from home, but only one leads back to it, black and full of sorrow. When you start along the path, make haste. Make haste. Another road. The road begins at the threshold of the Expanse and leads to the bowels of the emerging world. Reading the threads of fate is not meant for you, slave of the enthroned corpse. Step into the embrace of doom, for thus was it preordained by the architect of fates. That wasn't me. I swear on everything that's holy. I don't know what the second road is or who watches over it, but I beg you, stay away from it.
Seems.
You bet I do, Lord Captain. Okay, so we went to Footfall once? Well, I mean, Lord Captain Theodora went to Footfall a lot. But on that occasion, she took me with her for some reason. My day had gotten off to a bad start. My head had been yammering since I woke up, but there was nothing else for it. I had to go. We arrived at the place. And what a place! All the gentlemen and ladies dressed to kill, showing off their encrusted implants, all clustered around little tables. Well, turned out it was a gaming den. And not just any gaming den, but one run by somebody with deep pockets for people with just as much cash to splash. You should have seen it. People gambling away planets in a game of regicide. Anyway, so the Lord Captain wanted me to help her beat some guy. So I tell her, the chips won't land in your favor. You'll get a bad hand. Don't sit down at that table, your ladyship. But did she listen? Of course she didn't. If there's one thing she never lacked, it's stubbornness. So they sat down and the cards were dealt. I'm hovering around like I'm not involved, but I'm keeping my eye on things. And everything in my head keeps getting louder and louder. Anyway, it's a good thing I realized in time that my mind wasn't going haywire over a losing hand, but something else. I made some excuse to drag the Lord Captain up from the table and took her away from that place. And a few minutes later, the room where we'd been... It turned out some wise guy had the same bright idea to bring a pet psyker along with him. One of those ones who just scuttle around in Footfall's underbelly. And the psyker just freaked out, I guess. After all the commotion, people went to see what happened in the room. And they'd all gone for each other's throats. Literally. With teeth. And I think they completely detached that asteroid from Footfall and pushed it off into open space so it would head off toward the local star.
That was brutal.
Of course. All... I'm sorry, Lord Captain. The voices are going wild. I can't make out a thing. Of course.
Alright, I think we finished for today. That was a long conversation spree. So yeah, next one we'll probably visit a new planet. So thank you for watching and see you in the next one.